Hello, Vikki. Would you mind introducing yourself however you feel like?
Um, yeah, just Vikki. I'm a 36 stay-at-home mom that spent from 18 to almost 25 on the street in Arizona. And I've been off for about 16 years, but I see a lot of the same things that were always going on, still going on.
So, still going on. So, what is your personal experience with houseless or being houseless or seeing it?
So I'm a runaway that was facing a lot of abuse at home. And so my sweep started very differently than other people because I was still just a kid. So a lot of time that entailed me being taken to facilities or like being returned home.
Mm-hmm.
But as I got older, I I literally could not grow up. I couldn't keep documentation to get a job or to get a house or whatever. So like it really hindered even just like my understanding of how to be an adult in Arizona.
So you didn't really get an experience of anybody teaching you anything, like at all.
No, not really.
So were you in and out of the system basically, or being returned to your parents?
I was being returned to my parents up until about 16, and then it was like group homes and stuff like that. But this labeled me, because I was a runaway from abuse, this labeled me as trouble with the Phoenix PD even before I was 18 years old.
So that's like something on your record right from the start as
right,
a kid.
right. So they didn't like interacting me even when I was brand new, like to being an adult.
Oh my gosh. Can you what was those interactions with the PD? How was that? What was happening to you?
So a lot of times when you are labeled in the system as trouble or with SMI, they treat you hostilely right from the start. So a lot of times, immediately from the start, I'm put on the ground, I'm handcuffed, I'm detained in an area because my documents with them say that I'm seriously mentally ill. Which, if anything, I think thinks that I should be treated with more care, not more roughness.
Yeah, literally because in their records it says that you have SMI, they're more prone to just manhandle
They're
you.
way more aggressive than they were with like my neurotypical and okay friends that didn't have that on their record.
If it's not too bad, like if you don't mind talking about it, like would they like sit on you while handcuffing you? Like what was the behavior?
Yeah, so I'd get put in detainment areas where I wasn't arrested for many hours. So like I'd be held in a car for like 8 hours, or I'd be held in someone's office for 16, 17 hours, and I wouldn't even know what was going on. And it was very distressing, especially when I was a kid and a young adult.
So this was like basically 16 plus, and this was all occurring to you.
Yeah.
And how do you think that affected your developmental progress?
I don't trust anybody. Like, I can't hold down a job. Every single adult to me looks like a terrifying figure that's going to hurt me.
Jesus.
And like, I'm basically an agoraphobic. Like, I don't come out of my house rarely at all. I just don't trust the world, like, period, at all. Like, I grew up, and it's both ways. Like, I have serious abuse from the authority figures, but the homeless population itself was also already so much to deal with.
Right,
Like,
I've heard lots of stories from people who are houseless from just the trauma of dealing with other people who are houseless.
yeah, like, so it's not like I trusted my own community either. And it really ultimately came to a head because I ended up pregnant, and I had my child at 19.
Jesus.
And they had given me a place to live in, like a pregnancy new mother's home.
Uh-huh.
And I couldn't deal with it because of my SMI and because of my lack of trust of people. The entire loss of autonomy and like, wake up now, go here, sit in this room, go to this class. I could not trust people to dictate my life that way. And so I tried to leave, and they told me, well, no, essentially you're a prisoner here and you can't leave even though you're an adult. And if you take your baby, we know you don't have a house, so we will take him.
So they're threatening you with the custody of your child.
Yeah. So I ended up leaving anyway, and they said, fine, every single morning you need to tell us where you slept inside a building, and we need to see that the child is okay. My son was okay. And I did that. I found somewhere to crash every time, but then I wasn't allowed to take all of my child care stuff to these places I was sleeping. I couldn't take bags of diapers and a stroller and umbrellas for the sun and all this stuff.
Right, because there's limitations in a lot of shelters of what you can bring
Oh
in.
no, I was literally staying on people's couches, just
Oh,
strangers.
okay, straight up, there's just limitations on space because...
Yeah, they just don't want a whole bunch of
shit.
random stuff in their house. So I had all my stuff stored in an abandoned lot, and Phoenix PD saw me going in there and came over and saw it was baby supplies and asked me what the deal was, and I said, oh, I have a place to stay, but I can't keep this stuff in that house. And then I went about my day, and I went to Tumbleweed and got food and stuff, and went up back to Phoenix. And when I got back, they had come and taken all of my baby supplies, all of my formula, all of my diapers, all of my wipes. And that next day, when I was waiting at the bus, my son got a severe sunburn because I didn't have my umbrellas anymore. And they don't have sunshades on the dumb bus stops. And so I was forced into a position that I knew I would have to show up that morning with a sunburned baby, and it wouldn't look like I was housing him anymore. So I was forced to give up child support to my parents, who were my original abusers in the first place.
Oh my God, what a fucking cycle. The only people you could turn to is your original abusers.
Yeah. And they had my son for 4 years.
Why do you think the cops took the baby stuff? What was the purpose of that?
I think they just didn't like seeing, like, they didn't trust that the baby should be out there. But the thing was, he never was sleeping out there. So they didn't believe my story, is what I think.
Just took your shit.
Yeah, they just took it. And they had his birth certificate, his shot records, it just had everything that I needed as a mom to keep my life going.
This was a while ago, before the current happenings with the sweeps.
This was
and stuff.
16 years ago.
16 years ago. Well, I mean, obviously the Phoenix PD has been a problem for a very long time.
Yes.
Jesus. Wow. Have you had interactions with the Central Arizona Shelter Services?
Yep, I have been in. I went through CAS and through the jobs program and through HUD housing, all of which failed. In CAS, every time I stayed there, I got violently ill. Like, I could not be so sick when I was there. Like, I would get flus, fevers, like throwing up, like just the hygiene situation there was unreal. It was unreal. And then the jobs program would not work with my SMI. Like, they just kept putting, I would say I need to work somewhere quiet without people, like maybe overnights cleaning or something, and they'd be like, work at Walmart at noon. And I couldn't do it. I couldn't.
You can't force yourself because it's too detrimental to your mental health.
Yeah, I couldn't. And HUD housing, I ended up losing because at that time I just wasn't old enough to understand why I could get something and someone else couldn't. So I would always let homeless people come in and take showers, use my food, do all this other stuff. So they kicked me out of the housing program, basically for being kind.
You're not the only person that I've known that has been kicked out of their housing for trying to help other people because of the rules and regulations.
Yep.
or people right now who are renting and, if their landlord finds out, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's taught me not to help people because I will get hurt just for doing that.
If they keep us all at each other's throats, then, we'll be busy.
No,
Wow.
They did a good job of that.
Oh my God. This is quite some stuff. You are housed now.
I am housed now.
You're housed.
I've been housed for 16 years.
Okay, good.
So.
After all that.
Yeah.
Your youth. It went straight up, and I'll make it.
That's okay.
We have technical difficulties because I don't have any equipment. There we go. Wow. Oh my God. Yeah. Oh my God. That is a lot.
Yeah, and they just don't care. And a lot of things add up, it's not just in Arizona. Like, I tried to get out of this system to go to California, And I was there very, very shortly, and they just shot my dog right in the face.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, my dog barked at them
The cops.
on a leash, and they just shot her in the face. And when I tried to take them to court, the court said, we can give you $500 for the dog you've had 13 years.
Because it's property, not...
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just was like, I don't understand. And like, that's actually a really, like, the killing of homeless pets is very common. And if they take you to jail or a shelter and you're there for more than 24 hours, they'll put your pet down before you can go get them.
I met somebody recently within the zones of the encampments who lost their pet of 10 years because of that reason.
Yeah, I don't think they realize that in itself is a crazy amount of trauma. Like, you don't trust anyone, all you got is those pets. So
it's like, it's especially for people. I have a lot of fur babies. I love them all, but yes, I understand, like, you're on the streets, that's your family. That is all you have.
I couldn't even sleep after that. Like, she was my alarm, she was my ears, she was, everything.
God.
So it's just like, I'm not really understanding why it has to be so violent, and it was very odd to me because I thought when I became an adult they would help me, like, because now I would be free of my things, and I didn't understand that whole time I was building a stigma, because to me I was just trying to stay safe. Like, that's all I ever was.
You're trying to survive.
Yeah, and I'm not sure how, like, a runaway kid equals, like, an adult that you need to harass, like, the day they turn 18. Like,
it's I don't even understand it. I don't even know if the police themselves understand it, but they dehumanize people to a point so that they can do that. And it's fucking disgusting.
I don't know. In a lot of ways, I would say that because of Phoenix PD, like, I didn't even have a chance to grow up. Like, once I got out of my childhood situation, I was right into the fire.
Yeah. So once you were supposedly out of the innocent zone, now you're just being treated like a criminal straight from the start.
Right. Like, what? Like, I didn't even do anything yet.
And how are you supposed to build relationships and trust with anybody in that kind of situation when you've been dealt those cards already from the beginning?
Yeah. No, it's a bit crazy. And they still have a lot of that same attitude. My son that I was talking about, he passed away last year, and he ran away when it was 113 degrees.
Oh my God.
And the Phoenix PD was like, oh, well, an almost 16-year-old runaway isn't our problem. Like, if we see him, we'll pick him up. We're not really going to look for him. And he died of heat stroke within 2 days.
I'm so sorry.
So I just really don't like their attitude towards people that are less fortunate. Like, this was just a kid. He was going through the coronavirus. He had to live in a hotel for a year because of all the weird law, like all the evictions and like all the.
Were you guys affected by the coronavirus?
Yeah,
evictions?
we had to stay in a hotel for a year. So right when we first got this apartment, my son was still very angry about that year, and he just took off, like letting off some steam, and that was his first days ever away from me, ever in his life, and he didn't make it home within 48 hours. Like, it's surreal to me. And he was 2 blocks away from him. He was 2 blocks away from him.
And the police didn't take you seriously?
No, not at all. They literally, like, barely looked at us. They were like, okay, yeah. Is he in drugs? Is he got friends around here? It's probably fine. He'll probably come back. Whatever. This happens. He's 16. He's a teen boy now. Like, they made all the excuses in the world why it was fine that he was out there.
And then now your son is dead.
Now he's gone.
I'm so sorry.
So I just don't have any tolerance for it.
What? No. What are we paying them for? Because they're not fucking doing anybody any good, as far as I've seen.
No. And a lot of that, like, I always wonder, like, did my early interactions with the cops show up? Like, when I called them about my kids, did it say, like, oh, this is that lady? This is that homeless lady?
I bet you. I think our records follow us. I think it shows up.
Because I always wonder, like, did they just be like, apple doesn't fall far from the tree and not care? Because it just haunts me. It haunts me.
I know. I understand why. What the fuck? Holy shit, Vikki.
Anyway, they should change it.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. Is there anything else about the experiences you've had with the Phoenix PD or the state or anything else that you want people to know?
Sorry.
No, take your time. There's no pressure. And if you think,
They're not your friends. Like, I have suffered just as much essay and physical abuse from Phoenix police as anyone else in my life. I don't know how you hold those in authority accountable, but the Phoenix PD accountability is crap. It's crap.
it's crap. It is. And I don't trust this investigation. This is a Department of Justice investigation. I just don't. We'll see now.